amount for what we thought we would be spending this year. And that made up about 13.5 million of that 24 million. The rest were just non-blanket POs for things that have happened already, like FEV tutor, mainly licensing, subscriptions, tutoring, things like that, things that we had to take care of. 60% of that 24 million was for recurring expenses. 8.4 million was for licenses and subscriptions. 3.1 million was for telecomp related expenses. The rest of that was made up of like mileage, expense reimbursements, technology related items, rent, utilities, supplies, just normal things like that. 22% of that 24 million was made up of learning fund, service and product vendors, and that totaled 5.4 million. 11% was for therapy vendors, totaling about 2.5 million. So that makes up the biggest portion of those POs that we issued. So if you have any questions, just let me know.
So from the POs that you had last year, did you just assign a certain percentage increase to figure out, I mean, was it a across the board increase, or did you just look at each individual one and assign a specific increase? Or
We started out just running a report looking at last year's data, and we had about 10 months. And so we did a calculation just taking that 10 months and increasing it to 12 months. We took things like mileage, where we paid 50 cents a mile last year, and we increased that mileage, so we tried to take that into account on those POs. And there were a few vendors that we were aware of that we didn't have a full year's worth of data, so we looked at their PO specifically for what we spent last year and bumped it up for, let's just say, the 12 months of this year. So we did a little of both.
okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think I need to understand this one a little bit more, because I'm not sure what data we need to see on this. I mean, that was helpful, I guess, to some extent, but I'll take the action to get with you and maybe have a further discussion. In the interest of time, we'll move on, though.
Okay, thank you.
Do I have a motion to accept this action?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Janet?
Paul Campbell.
Yes.
Ginger Casper. Yes. Wyona Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum.
Yes.
Catalina Beltran Dominguez.
Yes.
Okay, we have to take a 5-minute break. Roger, I'll do what you guys have to do, but online there. It is 8:28. We'll just come back at 8:35. That's 7 minutes, right there. We're live? We're live. Okay. All right, waiting on Bill. We got the board here. Okay. Next up on the agenda, by the way, for fellow board members, I think we're on the other side of halfway. That was our break. We got through the very meaty stuff on the one-on-one, and I think blended will be a little bit quicker because we've covered a lot of blended in this meeting. But over to Roger.
Okay, I'm bringing before you, looking for approval for an internet. This
get language around that, because we cover vulgarity and profanity, but I think that's important as well.
Sure.
Is that it, Roger?
That's it.
Okay. Can I get an action on this motion? Or can I get a motion on this action?
Paul, I would ask, just in order to accommodate Wyana's request, that the motion be to approve the policy as amended pursuant, so we will go back in and add the language
Okay.
mentioned, please, just so the record's clear.
Can I get a motion to approve this action as amended by Luana, our board member?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Bill, can you do roll?
Yes, sir. Tell me real quick, who moved?
I did.
Okay.
Yep.
And who seconded?
I did.
Paul Campbell?
Yes.
Ginger Casper?
Yes.
Wyana Montgomery?
Yes.
John Tatum?
And
Catalina.
Oh, no, yes, Catalina, I'm sorry. Yes.
What does it refer to when it says the student will not give my home address? Because it says the student agrees to the following terms and conditions. The student will not give my home address, location of my school, phone number, or any personal information about myself or any other student or school personnel to anyone.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Sorry, is that it says, because it says the student agrees to the following terms and conditions, but it says the student will not give my home address, location of my school, phone number, or any other personal information about myself or any other student or school personnel to anyone via the internet.
I think it's just for a protectionary purpose of the student and their home. I mean, if you want to strike that, we can, sure. That's the, what, bullet point number 5?
I think we're just looking for clarity.
I think the reference to my is referring to that particular
To the
students, like
student.
my,
Is that the
I will
question?
not, We don't want students sharing their personal identifiable information
Correct.
through the internet. And so I think the wording there is a little bit awkward, but the intent is that we don't want our students sharing their home address, their home personal information on the internet.
So is it the issue that it should say the student will not give their, instead of the student will not give?
It's just a matter of wording, like the student will not give his or her
His or her,
slash
yeah. His or her
home
or her.
address.
We can also clean up that wording as a part of an amendment to that policy,
Okay,
as we've made the motion.
okay,
So Catalina, how would you vote?
okay. Thank you. Motion passes. Okay, for the next 4 items, 13 through 17, we have the pleasure of Justin.
It's my pleasure. Pleasure's all mine. Yeah, as you recall, it's been mentioned previously that we have a category, for lack of better terms, of curriculums for families to choose from. Some of those curriculums will be listed here in the next few agenda items. First one, item number 13, Renaissance Learning for Freckle ELA, Math, Science, and Social Studies in the amount of approximately $246,780 for 9,000 students. That is going to be for all K through 8 students that are below grade level on their STAR benchmark, as stated in the plan for improvement. So we are estimating, based on our total number of K through 8 one-to-one students, a 9,000 student license need for those that will possibly need remediation, Freckle ELA and math. Renaissance was kind enough to also throw in math, science, and social studies. So when a student qualifies for Freckle ELA or math, they will also have the ability, the teacher and the family will have the ability to also remediate in science and social studies and have some cross-curricular activities. So as mentioned, this is for all K through 8 students that would score below grade level on their STAR benchmark, or any student that would want to partake in this. We have estimated that at 9,000 students, and we are utilizing this because Freckle integrates with STAR, which is our benchmark assessment.
What else do we buy from Renaissance?
STAR.
Oh, you just said
Yeah.
that's it? Just STAR?
The STAR test, as well as these Freckle curriculum, these Freckle supplementals.
Okay, any questions?
Now, if we don't need all 9,000, are we able to get any money back?
The extra licenses roll over to the next year.
Okay.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second? Janet?
Paul Campbell.
Yes.
Ginger Casper.
Yes.
Wyonna Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum.
Yes.
Catalina Bertrand Dominguez.
Yes.
You did much better, Janet, than Bill did. You know, the bar was low. Okay. Keep going, sir.
Okay. Item number 14 deals with Apex Learning, which is a curriculum, it's a core curriculum offered on the Learning Fund. It's for grades 6 through 12. And again, this estimate of 2,310 students is based off of last year's usage. So this expenditure would be $231,000. We feel like the 2,310 students is a good estimate for students in the one-to-one district that would choose Apex as their core curriculum in the Learning Fund.
Is this off-the-shelf price, or did we negotiate this price on this one?
We negotiate prices.
Okay, I mean, on this one, we could, on this particular instance, this 231?
I
Or
mean,
whatever that comes out to
there's,
be, I guess
yeah.
$10 or $100 a child?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Any questions? Okay, you gonna get a motion to approve action item 14?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Janet?
Paul Campbell.
Yes.
Ginger Casper.
Yes.
Wyonna Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum.
Yes.
Catalina Bertrand Dominguez.
Yes.
Justin?
Okay, item number 15 is for a curriculum titled Bright Thinker. It was a new curriculum last year. It saw some traffic, and we are estimating it to have 2,600 students that choose it from the Learning Fund. This will be another Learning Fund option for a core curriculum, grades 3 through 12. And let's see, with the subjects of math, language arts, social studies, history, science, and some electives. So this is for Bright Thinker, and again, core curriculum offered through the Learning Fund as an option.
Okay. Unless there's questions, I'd take a motion to accept this action.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Janet? Yes.
Ginger Casper.
Yes.
Wyonna Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum.
Yes.
Catalina Bertrand Dominguez.
Yes.
Okay, item number 16, Waterford Curriculum. This is for students that are pre-K through second. Again, this is a core curriculum offered as an option through the Learning Fund, and the estimate of 4,800 students is based off of usage of last year.
I'll entertain a motion to accept this action.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Janet? Yes.
Ginger Casper.
Yes.
Wyonna Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum.
Yes.
Catalina Bertrand Dominguez.
Yes.
Okay, and item number 17, Edgenuity. It is also a core curriculum within the Learning Fund for grades 3 through 12. The estimate of 900 students is based off of usage last year and the amount of $180,000. Yeah, grades 3 through 12, core curriculum option in the Learning Fund for families to choose.
How long have we been using this?
Edgenuity, quite some time. I don't know, Roger, do you have any idea? 4 to 5 years is what I was going to guess too. It's been here since I've been here, which is 5 years.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept this action item?
Motion to accept.
Second.
Janet? Yes.
Ginger Casper.
Yes.
Wyonna Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum.
Yes.
Catalina Bertrand Dominguez.
Yes.
Okay, Justin, thank you.
Thank you.
Action item number 18, discussion and possible action to approve agreement with Oklahoma Department of Human Services to provide a school-based specialist with the district. Okay. Chad?
Good evening, everybody. Chad Dimick, the Assistant Superintendent of Student Services. And one thing to clarify, in the way it's written in the minutes, it says specialists. It's actually specialists, plural. I get the honor to speak tonight because the original point of contact with this, Paul's favorite person, B-Dub, is no longer with us. So I've had a chance to do a lot of research about this topic real quick to present this evening. But basically taking a look and stepping back of some needs that our families have that they don't necessarily would receive at the brick and mortar school, fostered this partnership that we have with DHS. I'm going to read the definition here from the PowerPoint presentation that's in your Dropbox packet. But a school-based specialist is an OKDHS school-based program provides schools with fully integrated school-based specialists. Like you, these specialists serve kids and families as part of our school's team and work to make connections with OKDHS and community-based services and resources to help families meet their needs and ultimately create pathways to their goals. The SBS provides support to the school in many different ways. Our goal is to focus on families and ensuring basic needs are being met so that teachers and principals can focus on education. And some of the things that these specialists can provide to our families are things such as helping them apply for Sooner Care, SNAP, helping them find community resources, like if they need utility or rent support down in Antlers, Oklahoma, or anywhere else within the state borders. Special projects that they've listed with some of the other partnerships that they have, or clothing, hygiene closets, food drives, winter coat, shoe drives, things like that, that as much as a big heart as our family has, it takes away from our focus, which is the education piece. This is another part to it. We rolled this out this past spring. It was really late spring, and our families and even our teachers would submit a request through our website. It's right there on the front page where it says social services, and they would be able to be contacted by one of these 5 specialists when they receive that information. Any questions so far about this?
Do we, when they make the request, do we do any income verification, or is it just like the honor system? If you're saying you're in need, then we just go with the fact that you're in need?
I honestly do not know. I imagine if it's something to where, like, applying for Sooner Care, it would have to be whatever that form is, because I'm sure.
That system is going to make a decision.
Exactly. And any other questions?
Why are we voting on this one? I don't remember, or I'm not sure I asked. It's because it's an agreement?
So, well, it is a memorandum of understanding with the district.
Yeah.
The district is going to pay 50% of the salary and benefits and things of that sort associated with these specialists to help provide services and assistance to our families. And so we thought, as a part of transparency and best practice, whether it may or may not go over the $150,000 threshold, but that because it is a community partnership with our district, and I think the organization believes a positive thing to partner with DHS to provide these support and wraparound services for our families, that we'd bring it to the board so you would be aware of it and ensure the proper authorization of the expenditure of the funds from the district to support the DHS program and these specialists.
One final thing I'd like to note also is we want to make sure that there is no stigma tied to when you hear DHS, that means we're having caseworkers go in and take and separate families. That is not the focus of these specialists. These specialists are there to prevent things like that. And so just want to make sure, and that's something we need to do a better job this upcoming year of educating our faculty and our families that what these services are to provide for them.
I mean, for example, Paul, I'm sorry, Paul, just for example for you, I believe this MOU is in your packet for you to sign. It does require a signature on behalf of the school district to enter into this MOU.
Well, I'm glad we erred on the side of transparency. Good job. And I think this is a broader conversation when we don't have to do it on this action item, but I do think we have a broader conversation about just partnering, but also wraparound services. To me, educating and empower students means that we've got to look at the whole child, and we've got to have partners like this to be able to be successful in our mission. And I would like to note that I do think DHS is doing a lot of really great things in the past year and a half. We got a long way to go, but the little I do know about the work they're doing, which is, they're doing a good job. And so I'm glad that we're at least establishing that relationship now and see where that goes. Do I have a motion to accept this action item?
I have some
I'm sorry,
questions,
anyone-
because this is especially how I used to work with as a family support worker, so I really understand, and it's a great, I mean, it's very similar, because what we used to do is try to help families to know about the resources that are out there, so that in case they need them. But I have a couple of questions. So this is optional, right? And
Yes, this is
yeah.
totally optional.
Yeah, and so, because my understanding as a parent when I was with EPIC is that there are so many resources that I didn't even knew that I had. So how are we going to try to outreach the parents to know that this is a resource that they have, and that how are they gonna, is this gonna be virtual? Are they gonna go to their homes, or how does it, you know?
Well, my understanding from this is obviously getting the word out about it is very critical and important. So I'd probably be working with the communications department of letting our families know, and then our faculty. And again, getting rid of the stigma of it's the boogeyman. This is really an opportunity to help people when they have these needs. So that's really the first thing. And then when it comes to resources, I do believe these specialists live in various regions of the state. So I don't know if there'd be availability for in-home visits or not. That's a question I don't know the answer to.
So there are gonna be, how many specialists?
There are
according-
5.
There are 5 in total? Okay. Yeah, I just
Just-
want to make sure that we have an appropriate outreach, because this is critical. I mean, there are so many parents that I'm sure that will take advantage of this great opportunity. This is maybe thinking about even commercials or something, because that's how it used to be with the parent, as a family support worker. So try to show it as something that is going to benefit the families, you know. And as you say, that is not something to stigmatize, but the opposite is something, is lending them a hand, you know?
Catalina, just to clarify the questions you asked, the MOU does provide that the support specialists will be available 40 hours a week in office or where the student or family is, let's say, and to the extent that distance learning is determined to be necessary, such as for providing for health and safety reasons for virtual engagement, that they will shift to that, but the starting point is for them to be available in person, such as like office hours, like the staff or teacher would be for the school.
I think there's an action we need to take here from what Catalina said, Shelley, is that part of your communication plan, I don't know, Catalina, if you were here for that, but obviously parent outreach and having them to understand not only what their role is within our school, because we are different, but what resources we have and what everything that is available. So tag you're it. Anything else you want to add? Any other questions for?
More thing, would they be bilingual?
Yes, I do believe so.
Okay.
At least one of them is.
Okay, great, thank you.
We have to have bilingual in that position, so we need to come back with an answer on that, whether that's a yes or no. I mean, I don't think that's an option to have. We need probably more than one, I would say.
Paul, before we go to the vote, one other thing, Chad, that would be good for us to suggest to them is some kind of reporting and analytics at the end of, a semester, at the end of the year. How many students did we serve? How many families did we help? And so we could bring that data back to the board for consideration a year from now and allow them to determine whether or not the investment that the school is making is bearing fruit.
Thank you. Any other comments for Chad? Questions? Okay. Do I have a motion to accept this action item?
So moved.
Second? Janet?
Paul Campbell.
Yes.
Ginger Casper.
Yes.
Wyonna Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum. Catalina Bertrand Dominguez.
Yes.
Okay, board members, you guys got to get quicker on these yeses and seconds and all that, okay? Okay. Board member comments?
I have probably had more to say tonight than ever, and it's because we actually get to talk about the school and the students and academics. So hey, someone tried to turn off my mic. No. But I so appreciate that. So I'm excited for this space that we're in. I want to apologize for missing last month because my husband took me on a surprise trip. But I'm so excited that we are talking about why we're really here, what's most important.
Hear, hear. Okay, I'll wrap it up just with a couple comments. Thank you for all the presentations. Greatly appreciated, all the hard work. You guys are always thoughtful. I wanted to wrap up with what I think some of the positives and also some of the negatives, not negatives, but where we really need to improve. So just summarizing what I took away from this board meeting. One, I'm absolutely tickled that, I didn't know this until tonight, we have hired over 100 new teachers. So that is a major positive. And I love that we're getting that new blood in here and that you've already engaged with them. So welcome to those 100 plus new teachers. We can't lose sight or I don't think we can underappreciate or overappreciate our student-teacher ratio and how much that shifted from 36 to 24. So a 50% reduction is mind-blowing, and I appreciate that. The IT plan, I think, is robust. I'm cautiously optimistic, to use Roger's words, on the technical aspects of it. I would say probably one of my bigger concerns for the school right now is on the change management side, Roger, as we talked about, and ensuring that the products and the processes and the services that we're providing, and it's really along with what this conversation we just had, is that everybody's educated in a way that they understand why we're making these changes and what they need to be doing different. So that is one of my worries. We have a lot of work to do around the performance framework. I don't even want to give it a grade right now, no pun intended, because I think it's too premature to even assess that. 'Cause I'm not even sure we're done assessing out where we need to go and all the things that we need to do. But to me, one of the things that is glaring is the lack of an associate's degree program that's more formalized in the ACT. And I'm sure there's more there, but I wanted to point those out again. We need to fix the mics. So some of the mics keep checking out, so let's make sure we get those fixed. I don't know how you do that, Sean. I know you and I talked. I know it's not your fault, but if we get those fixed, that would be great. And then the last thing I wanted to say is I'm really excited about the board retreat in August. We have a lot of work that Carrie is helping me with, and Bart and I are going to be working together, and I just want to offer to any of the board members here, feel free to reach out to me as we develop the agenda for that, and if you want to be part of setting that up and thinking how we design that for next month, definitely entertain that and would welcome the help. We have a lot of work to do. I'm happy with the start we're off to, but this is the first of 1,000 steps. So yeah, one good step, great. Okay, let's keep plugging away. Okay, I think we are now to the portion of public comments. So do we have anyone that's signed in?
I want to say something else.
Oh, yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Is that actually in my notes I had, what can we do to support parents or empower parents based on what Waihona said about the parent orientation? I think that since we are focusing or trying to focus on achieve better academically, one of the most important things for children, it doesn't matter the age, is the support of their parents and whatever is happening at home, because if these children are spending part of their time homeschooling, or virtual schooling at home, so it means that whatever is going on at home is going to be affecting them directly in whatever they're going through emotionally, and there are so many things that happen inside a home. So I believe that the school-based specialist is crucial. I mean, this is such a great tool. I'm so glad that you guys thought about this, and I really congratulate whoever thought about this, because this is wonderful. Children are not just themselves. We have to think them as a whole, and this is a team, because it's teamwork with their parents. So if parents are worried about not having enough food on their table, or about not having clothes, or there's so many things that are going in home, and they don't have time to sit down with their child to explain them, and they're so stressed because I need to go to work and I can sit down with you right now, So this is very important that we find other tools and that we focus and that we also empower the teachers, because they're the ones who are actually spending some time one-on-one with the student and eventually with the parent, to let them know that they have these tools and that we are a school that supports them and that wants their children to achieve. And if there's anything else that we can do, I believe that it's very important for the parents to know that there is an open conversation, and that their feedback is very important for us, because we want to improve in the academics, in the numbers, but that's the way to go. It's not only just having great curriculums or having the best technology, but we are talking about human beings, and whatever is going around them, this is going to be affecting directly the way they learn, or if they don't learn, or if they invest time in. Sometimes it's not they're lazy. It's just that parents don't have time because they have 2 jobs, so they don't have time to sit down with their child. They also have a husband or a partner to attend each way, and they have other children. So these are very, very important things that we as members of EPIC need to know, that this is the base of, family is the base of everything, and on top of that, education is the base of society. So family must be our main focus, and I believe that also the outreach should not only be done for parents directly, but also to explain this to the teachers. The teachers need to know that this is a great tool that they have, and that they are the bridge between these school-based specialists and their families. So teachers are in their best interest to have the best achieve for their students. So let's give them this tool as well, not only just the curriculums, but this is a great tool, and let's try to push this so that parents know that whenever they're in need of, I also, about the counseling, I didn't know that we had, I mean, I learned it, I kind of read it, but I wasn't like, kind of like focused on or you know, or empowered about that tool that sometimes we need somebody to talk to, or we're having issues with our children or with our partner, or you know. So this is very, very important, because we're talking about children who are spending their times at their home, before if they're going to regular, or let's say traditional schools, they're spending their time there, so they're out of their conflicts. But if they're at home, they are immersed in their conflicts. So we have to help them resolve those in order for them to achieve whatever, you know, we want them to achieve.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Okay. Do we have public comments? Shelley? No. No, okay. So no public comments, okay. Can I have an action to adjourn? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Janet? Yes.
Ginger Casper.
Yes.
Wyona Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum. Yes. Catalina Bertrand
Yes.
Dominguez.
Meeting adjourned. Janet, are you ready? Okay, let's call to order the Board of Education meeting for Epic Blended. Yes, here.
Ginger Casper.
Here.
Wyona Montgomery.
Here.
John Tatum.
Here.
Catalina Bertrand Dominguez.
No, she's not on the board yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So Catalina, you're not on this board yet. Okay.
I show Catherine Steno and Danny Williams are absent.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you, Janet. Let's move into presentations. A reminder that we're looking for differences between the two districts here. So first up is Bart.
Okay, I'm going to give Sean a minute. I think he's working on the presentation, getting it to pull up. He's also multitasking with microphones. Yes, he's troubleshooting. Exactly, John. Very good. Okay, let me give you a quick update from our superintendent update for our blended learning charter. BLCs continue to interview teachers, so we are excited because our blended learning centers in Oklahoma City and then also in Tulsa are filling up, which suggests that parents like the services that we offer. And so we are excited to be hiring teachers. We are adding a high school at the Tulsa location, and so we're going to be excited to be able to offer pre-kindergarten through 12th grade in both Oklahoma County and Tulsa County at our blended learning centers. And that's the first time in the history of Epic Charter Schools we've been able to do that. So we're excited for our families in those two particular counties. Admin BLC training, we did targeted instruction and intervention. I know we talked about that here today. Also, this is something that's a little bit different. Because we are in a building, we do effective classroom instruction and engagement. So, you know, we have these children that are coming to our locations. In some cases, it's 5 days a week. So there are aspects in professional development such as classroom discipline, classroom management, classroom instruction. So these are things that our teachers at the blended learning centers are dealing with and training on as we prepare for the 21-22 school year, in addition academic climate and culture as well. Enrollment is very steady right now, and you can see to the right here our current ratios. A couple of them are a little bit high, but I know that we're actively looking to hire teachers, and so in some cases we may not be done with the hiring process, but the overarching goal is to continue to reduce our ratios to be able to provide more face-to-face time for those kiddos. So that shows you at each respective BLC where we're at. You can see the 2021 enrollment for the blended learning charter was at 21,395 so far. Right now we've got 16,832 students projected for this next year. But like I told you all in the previous board meeting, the next 30 to 60 days will be very telling for us in terms of what our projected enrollment and membership will be from a student standpoint. But I'm encouraged that even in spite of the pandemic and the students that came to us and some of those who have migrated back to their local brick and mortar school, we're still hanging on to a good portion of those kids that came to us as a result of the pandemic. And so I'm encouraged by that. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide. To talk about this, Oklahoma Institute for Diversity in Journalism workshop and epic attendees. So it looks like we had 3 kiddos: Beckett Disney, who's a senior, Jensen McKee, who's a freshman, and then Kaylee Smith, who is a senior. So it was a week-long workshop on the OU campus where they focused on all things journalism, and they had an opportunity to be around experts in the field, and the attendance was by application only. So the students had to submit a written application, including a 1 to 2 page essay. And so this is one of the extra enrichment opportunities that our students have participated in this summer. And so we're very proud of these 3 individuals that could end up being journalists when it's all said and done. Next slide. Also, wanted to recognize one of our teachers, Priscilla White. Was honored as an amazing Oklahoman. She is heading into retirement at the age of 81. Can you believe that? 81 years old, and she is fantastic. She has taught in Oklahoma her entire life, and said inspires her to work every single day. Her coworkers describe her as an excellent reading and writing teacher. She had been with EPIC since August of 2015, and she will be dearly missed. So we celebrate the retirement of Ms. Priscilla White.
Is this her last year, or last year was her last year?
Yeah, this one.
This one coming in?
No, I believe this
Okay.
past year, I believe it looks like she's retiring. She's fantastic though, and she's done a tremendous job. Her families love her, and so we celebrate and honor her.
Okay. Thank you, Bart.
And that's all, Paul.
Thank you, sir. Up next, Janice.
Hello.
Hello.
The financial update for Epic Blended Learning Charter. Go ahead. Year-end June 30th, 2021 for Blended, we had revenues year-to-date of $120,361,383.84, and expenses year-to-date, as you can see, of $115,495,000 and change. And for Blended, after all the checks have cleared the bank, we will have a carryover balance of $12,819,715.05, which is a healthy balance for Blended. So I'm pleased with how that turned out. Next slide, please.
So total carryover for the school is about 43 million. Did I remember that number right? How much profit have we made?
0.
Ah, good answer.
We don't make
We're a
profit.
nonprofit, yeah. Okay, this is a
Yeah.
trick question.
The Learning Fund update for Blended is identical to the Learning Fund update for one-on-one. We will be wrapping up invoice payments. EYS will be wrapping those up and getting us the information that is needed to analyze that balance and then have those assets returned to the district. And we have all the carryover balances posted to SpendBridge for all the Blended students as well. Next slide. For the Learning Fund update for the current year for Blended, we have 495 purchase orders created for our expected needs for the beginning of the year. Core curriculum, supplemental curriculum, the same items. And total purchase orders for Blended for the Learning Fund, $2,792,467 and 0 payments to date. So we'll start ticking that up pretty soon here. Blended is in the same position as one-on-one. We've created blanket purchase orders, which our encumbrance clerk Daniel will go over with you here in just a couple of minutes. And our department budgets are rolling along. Payroll's in the same situation. We're almost done getting all that set up for the new year. And we'll be discussing this with you all and with the executive leadership as we move forward into the school year. And that is the update for financial for Blended. Any questions?
You answered all my questions of the last previous board meeting.
Okay,
Okay.
thank
Up
you.
next, Roger, anything different? Is it, okay, okay. Leland?
Yes, sorry, Mr. Paul. So we, on the blended side, we have the same accreditation designation as we did for one-on-one with the admin cost penalty that we received, which was $3.26 million for blended was that penalty. So we also got a deficiency for that. We also got a deficiency for a corrective action plan that was given to us back in November. And so we took that from the State Department of Education, and we made a plan and submitted to this board in December. And in January, we submitted that plan to the Department of Education. They accepted it, and we are doing fine on the findings that they found. I'll go over just a couple of them. There were mainly about our English language learners, that we needed to identify them better, basically, and that we need to improve their services and their materials, and we need to improve their lesson plans. And another finding was that we needed to do better on our homeless training about if a child's homeless, what would a teacher do to help that child and the services that are out there. And we do have a homeless liaison now. That was one of our reforms. And so because it was a corrective action plan for all of our federal programs that had a few items like that, then that is considered a deficiency. So
Why do we only get a deficiency on blended and not on one-on-one?
Well, Mark Everhart, can you come up here, please? Mark, can you come here? Mark Everhart is our Assistant Superintendent of Special Services, and so he's been dealing with this area.
Because this past year,
Mark, go to the mic.
the State Department of Education did a federal programs monitoring on blended. And so that's why they didn't do a monitoring on our one-on-one district. So they went and looked at all the federal programs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I assume our action plan is also looking at one-on-one? All of our corrective actions are not just on the blended side?
Well, the corrective action plan is on the blended side, but obviously that's one of the advantages, I think, to having a board that thinks like that.
Yeah.
We would obviously make sure our homeless training's taking place on both sides. And it was, by the way, and why we got hit on that is beyond me. We trained every one of our teachers. I took it, Mark Banfield took it, we all took it, and they interviewed a couple of teachers that said, we don't remember taking it. Okay, well, 2,000 of you did, and you found 2 of them that said they didn't remember taking it.
Well,
So anyway.
I'm sure there's a way to get out of the deficiency, but there's also like, this is really important work.
Very much so. And we take it very seriously. And trust me, as staff, we do not want to have deficiencies whatsoever. And so we're taking this very seriously.
Okay.
But we are, of course, accredited with deficiencies, just like one-on-one.
Okay. Any questions for Leland? Thank you, Leland.
Thank you.
Bill, any changes?
Yes, I only had one thing on this update I wanted to advise the board of. Shauna, I don't know if you want to put up my one slide. And it's just basically that, as you may recall, we did submit the renewal application to Rose State by June 30th. And I wanted to acknowledge Leland Taylor and Shelley's teams in particular. And I think Janice and her team were involved in coming up with the 5-year budget and pulling that renewal application together. And we are Rose State's reviewing our application, and we're looking forward to having any conversations with them about any feedback or questions they have about our application and continuing down that process. The law does indicate and provide that they have to advise us with they have 4 months from the time of our application to advise us if they are going to renew our application, and then that's when we would presumably begin to have conversations with them about the charter contract language and in terms of the charter contract. But just want to give you that quick update that that has been submitted.
Thank you. Linda?
We
Yours is the
got-
same?
It's
Yeah,
the same
okay, okay.
presentation.
All right, moving on. Thank you. Thanks for all those updates. Moving on to the consent docket, we now proceed to the consent agenda. The consent items are routine in nature. They will be considered and voted on together as a group with one vote. However, any board member may ask about any item on the consent docket or ask to have any items removed from the consent docket for a separate vote. So take a minute to review items, fellow board members, 2 through 8. And I don't see, okay, I do see one thing that's different.
Does anyone have a summary of the changes being made to the student handbook? Just quick nutshell.
15 seconds or less.
Hi, hey.
Thank you.
So my name is, just joking. So there are 2 changes. One is dealing with concurrent enrollment. English composition wasn't listed as a class that we could give dual credit for. So a junior that takes a concurrent English class will now receive junior English credit, as well as the credit for the college course. And a senior that takes an English composition class concurrently will now also receive a high school credit and a college credit. That's one. The other one is the addition of our advanced placement curriculum. Previously, the handbook stated that College Board wouldn't grant us advanced placement authority due to the fact that we're virtual, blah, blah, blah. They have since done so, and we now are able to offer all advanced placement classes to our students. So there's just some handbook changes regarding the availability of advanced placement curriculum. You're very welcome.
Okay. If no more questions, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Janet? Yes.
Ginger Casper.
Yes.
Wayonna Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum.
Yes.
Okay, now we'll move on to purchasing and general business. We're not going to need Carrie, so let the minutes reflect that Carrie made a presentation. Education Board Partners made a presentation in the prior board meeting. That reflects what we're about to do here. So I would entertain a motion to nominate Catalina to this board as well.
Make a motion to nominate.
Janet? Yes.
Ginger Casper. Yes. Wayonna Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum.
Yes.
All right, Catalina, you're in. That's no backing out now. Okay, number 10. Discussion and possible action items to approve POs and encumbrances. We've been our separate and distinct encumbrance for this school district.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Haynes, and I'm your encumbrance clerk. I look forward to serving you guys as well as Janice in this capacity. So I just want to dive into the numbers real quick. I know it's late. Start with FY 21. We had $424,000 that we encumbered for that. Most of that was insurance renewals. So that consisted of about 3 POs specifically that was insurance renewals that covered $416,000 of that. For year 22, this year we encumbered $16 million roughly. And of that $16 million, we created 685 POs, and roughly 496 of those was the Learning Fund specifically. So our AP team did an amazing job. A large portion of that was done over the break too as well, where they could have been at home resting. They were here entering in those POs. So the rest of that incurred license and subscriptions. I know we had, there was a lot of talk about SpendBridge. So SpendBridge consists of about 12% of that 5.9 million that we have. That consists of 35% of that 16 million. But we also have telecom, and within that telecom, there's that monthly subscription. That's about 75% of that 2 million that we have encumbered for telecom there, and also. Therapy is a big one that we have, and within that therapy consists of speech therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy, psychological therapists. as well that we have for that. But outside of that, those things consist of about 73%. So the rest, 27%, is going to be your leases, your technology, our utilities, things of that nature too as well. And how we pretty much came up with those numbers that we encumbered, I know you mentioned that on our one-on-one meeting, we pretty much looked at each vendor, and looked at, for example, with leases, we looked at the contract, and see when they were going to go higher, and things like that, as well as trying to figure out when did a vendor start, the school year. So we didn't necessarily do it by 12 months, when did they start, so we did that, took that account to get calculations for each one. So that's pretty much how we came up with our numbers, that we encumbered, for the school year. So the great thing about a large portion of that is that of that 685 POs that we created, 660 of those were blanket POs. So that means those are POs that we don't have to do, that we don't have to enter next year's or years moving forward, because our system allows us to just push a button, so we don't have to create those POs, and thus save time for our accounting team moving forward. So I'm pretty excited about that. I know a lot of our other accounting team members are excited about that too as well, just that little quick automation part there as well. So if there's any questions, definitely love to answer any that you guys may have if I can. If not, just let me know.
Well done. How long have you been with Epic?
2 years.
Oh. We have a good HR department here, don't we?
I would agree with that. The best in the country, for sure. For sure.
We do. Well done. Thank you for that. Any questions on action item number 10? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Janet? Yes.
Ginger Casper.
Yes.
Wyonna Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum.
Yes.
Catalina Bertrand Dominguez.
Thank you, sir. Roger?
Okay, so again, I'm bringing.
What's
before you-
different?
Excuse me?
What's different than what was in one-on-one?
The two bullet points that were asked about not making racial slurs and the rewording of bullet point 5. Other than that, everything is the same.
Okay.
So we just have, on this motion, we can have the motion to approve the policy as amended, and then we'll incorporate those amendments that we've heard from board members tonight, please.
Can we get a motion?
Motion to approve the policy as amended.
Janet? Yes.
Ginger Casper.
Yes.
Wyonna Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum.
Yes.
Catalina Bertrand Dominguez.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, Justin, back to you again. You have
15 seconds.
15 seconds. No, go ahead.
Hey.
Take your time.
13.
Ish.
No, sorry. Okay, so item number 12, again, Renaissance Learning for Freckle, ELA, and Math. Our blended
Differences?
students, say again?
Differences?
Nope. Just the amount of licenses based
Any-
on usage from blended students.
On 12, just as interest of time, on 12, 13, 14, 15, are the dollars and students the only thing that are different?
Correct.
In the contracts?
Correct.
And then obviously the
Obviously, the
school
entity,
district?
yes.
Negotiations aren't different?
No.
Prices aren't different?
No, not per student. Yeah.
Terms and conditions, all that is the same? Okay.
Correct.
All right, well, thank you. I think we can go through these. All right, action item 12. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Janet? Yes.
Ginger Casper.
Yes.
Wyonna Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum.
Yes.
Catalina Bertrand
Yes.
Dominguez.
Do I have a motion to approve action item number 13?
So moved.
Second.
Janet? Yes.
Ginger Casper.
Yes.
Wyonna Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum.
Yes.
Catalina Bertrand Dominguez.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to approve action item number 14?
So moved.
Second.
Janet? Yes.
Ginger Casper.
Yes.
Wyonna Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum.
Yes.
Catalina Bertrand Dominguez.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to approve action item number 15?
So moved.
Second.
Janet?
Oh, we're getting really fast. Paul Campbell.
Yes.
Ginger Montgomery. Er- Can you both answer?
We had it!
Ginger Casper.
Yes.
Wyonna Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum.
Yes.
Catalina Bertrand
Yes.
Dominguez.
All right. That was pretty good. We kept going faster, probably like a melody or something, you know? Pop, 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 pop.
be faster to combine names.
Yeah, yes. Okay, thank you for that. Chad, item number 16, is there anything different that you discussed? It's the same, okay. So of the five on each school? How many are at blended? Or does it not look that way? Is it 5 across? Okay. 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 Do I have a motion to approve action item 16?
So moved.
Second.
Janet?
Paul Campbell.
Yes.
Ginger Casper.
Yes.
Wyona Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum.
Yes.
Catalina
Yes.
Dominguez. Bertrand Dominguez.
Okay. I don't think we have any board member comments. I think we're good here. So any public comments, Janet?
Nope.
Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Janet?
Paul Campbell.
Yes.
Ginger Casper.
Yes.
Wyona Montgomery.
Yes.
John Tatum.
Yes.
Catalina Bertrand
Yes.
Dominguez.
Meeting adjourned.